Hey, everybody. Welcome to We Are Here Now, a collaborative community talk show focused on a variety of topics to start conversations and inspire thoughts. This show is focused on exploring the channeling we receive from the entity we refer to as Michael from the Michael teachings. I'm your resident host and Michael Channel. For more information, see the video descriptions for relevant links. Any transcripts referenced during the show will be linked in the video description. Details about our panelists and student spotlight guests are also in the description. And if you enjoy this fast-paced variety in this series, but would like to have more TLE TV focused episodes and series on one topic that we explore, watch for the announcements and invitations to our 3 additional series, Living, Loving, Learning, and Causal Coffee with Troy. And brace yourself, we're going to start a WTF, a Wackadoodle Truths and Fringe series. Yes, we're going to go there. So details will be coming soon. Our initial test broadcast brought viewer feedback that most preferred the show to be no more than 60 minutes. So we have a lot to cover in 60 minutes, and we're going to try to. So let me introduce the panel today. So first we have Bobby. Yay! Hey, babe. I can't hear you. There you go. Oh. Hold on. You're muted for some reason. While he's figuring that out, I'm going to introduce Ro.
Hello.
Hey, Ro.
Can you hear me, guys?
I can hear you. You're good. You're
Perfect.
good. I don't know why. Oh, there's
Ro.
Bobby. Let's see if we can hear you, Bobby.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey,
all is good.
Technical difficulties for a show.
And
Bobby.
next we have Caitlin.
I'm a servercast artisan.
Hello, I'm Kate. I am a priest cast sage.
And we have Connor. Whee!
Hello, friends. I am a scholar cast sage. Welcome to We Are Here Now.
So, do you think we can cover everything in 60 minutes?
We'll give it our best shot.
I'll believe it when we do.
Good. That's a very good point. So, first up, we're going to dive right into Michael Views the News. Our first subject we're going to cover is Black History Month. Take it away, Connor.
Morgan Freeman is credited as saying, "I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history." That single sentence is profound in its simplicity. History, the history that most of us are taught in our countries, is not the whole truth. Most of American history is Black history.
American history has always excluded the contributions of most from marginalized and oppressed groups, and it has been a long fight to bring to light all of the people who shaped this country. And guess what? Surprise, they weren't all white.
Black History Month has morphed over the years to become a celebration of Black lives and voices across time, and not just in the past. TLE TV and the TLE community celebrate Black lives and voices today by providing an overleaf jackpot of influential Black people in current and historic times.
Now, I know this won't save the world, but having the overleaves of influential and inspiring people can help us to see overleaves in action and how they can sometimes show up in the world. There was a long list of requests from community members on TLE, and I picked 3 individuals from that list and asked Michael for their overleaves. Ro, would you mind sharing those overleaves?
Sure. Let's start with Zora Neale Hurston, American author, anthropologist, and filmmaker. Overleaves, 5th mature scholar cast sage from Cadre 5, Entity 5. Then we have Alice Walker, American novelist, short story writer, poet, and social activist. 4th-level old server cast priest from Cadre 2, Entity 7. And Tony K. Bambara, American documentary filmmaker, social activist, and college professor. 7-level mature scholar cast scholar from Career 2, Entity 3.
So there you go.
Wait, Troy. Troy.
What?
Breaking news.
What?
Breaking news, Troy.
What?
An additional 3 sets of overleaves for incredible figures of Black history have just been discovered
What?
in the show script. Can I go ahead
Tell
and
me
read
more.
them for you?
Please do.
So we're going to start again. 3 additional sets of overleaves have just been discovered, starting with Betty Davis, American funk and soul singer Betty Davis, who just so happens to be, oh, good for her, a 6th level mature soul.
Oh.
6th level mature. It's one of the toughest ones. She is a warrior caste sage from Cadre 3, Entity 6. And coming up next, we have American actress Pam Grier, who happens to be a 5th level mature sage. I'm sorry, sage caste. 5th level mature sage caste artisan from Cadre 5, Entity 1. And last but certainly not least, we have American rapper, songwriter, and reality television personality Little Kim, who just so happens to be a 1st level mature sage caste artisan from Cadre 6, Entity 3.
I'd like to say, correct that. It's Lil Kim. Thank you very much.
I said Lil.
Lil.
What? Wait, what's happening? Troy?
What?
I think I have a telepathic link to you right now because I feel like Michael is channeling 3 more.
What?
3 more sets of overleaves that we should share.
Tell me-
Hold on.
Come here. What?
All right, Troy, you're coming through to me really clear now. So apparently there's also Megan Thee Stallion, an American rapper, singer, and songwriter. And her overleaves are 1st level mature artisan caste warrior. Look at those nails. From Cadre 6 and 4.
What the?
And of course, how can we not talk about Missy Elliott, American rapper, singer, songwriter, and record producer. Look at that hair. Overleaf, 2nd level old sage caste sage, another sage caste sage, from Cadre 6, Entity 5. And then certainly last but not least, Langston Hughes, American poet, social activist, novelist, playwright, and columnist. And his overleaves are 4th level old scholar caste sage from Cadre 3, Entity 1.
Okay, that's a nice set of overleaves. We've got a nice little collection there.
Guys.
Oh.
Guys, you're not going to believe this.
What?
I don't know. We must all be feeling the energy today because holy cow, I got 3 more overleaves.
What?
For 3 more people.
Wow.
Hit us up.
Here we go. First, James Baldwin, American novelist, playwright, essayist, poet, and activist. He is a 5th level old scholar caste sage from Cadre 2, Entity 2.
That's us.
That's us. And then Huey P. Newton.
What?
American revolutionary who, along with fellow Merritt College student Bobby Seale, co-founded the Black Panther Party. He is also a 5th level old sage caste priest from Cadre 2, Entity 3. And the big one, Malcolm X.
Whoa.
African-American Muslim minister and human rights activist who was a popular figure during the Civil Rights Movement. He is also 5th level old caste priest from Cadre 2, Entity 3.
That's amazing. We got all those overleaves.
Breaking news. Breaking news squared. Breaking news 2.0, Troy. Electric Boogaloo. We have yet another set of overleaves.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, get ready for this time. American singer, songwriter, actor, businessman, and dancer, Usher, who happens to be, he is a new to the old soul age, a 1st level old artisan caste sage from Cadre 1, Entity 7. Welcome to the old soul age, Usher.
Wow. So I think we've got them all, right? I think we're done.
No,
That's
no, no,
surely-
no, no. Stop it right there.
Oh,
I'm getting something.
More?
I'm getting something. I can feel that the presence here. Tupac Shakur.
what?
Yes. He's an American rapper and actor, 6th-level mature priest-cast artisan from Category 6, Entity 3.
Wow.
Wow. Well, that was some jackpot of overleaves. So everybody who's watching, please take time to Google and learn and listen and enjoy these voices, these arts and the teachings of these amazing historic Black lives. Wait a minute. There's one more I'm getting coming in.
Who could we possibly have left off?
Holy moly.
There's no one left.
What? Beyonce! How could we not have gotten Beyonce's overleaves? American singer, songwriter, actress, record producer, and muse to many. The overleaves are 4th-level old artisan cast sage from Cadre 6, Entity 1, playing the muse support position in many lives, with the muse focused on the theme of personal empowerment. So, there we go. I tried to get everybody's overleaves that were requested in that list on TLE, and I hope everybody enjoyed that. And remember, American history is Black history. Earth history is Black history. And remember, Black lives matter every damn day.
There's a lot of love in the chat right now.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I
Okay.
hope you didn't faint. And if you did faint, I hope
Please
you had a
don't
pillow.
faint. Breathe.
So
Come back
that
to
was
us.
awesome. Complete sets of overleaves for all of the above will eventually be available on the site and in the database that we have set up. And we're going to move on really quickly to the next piece of news. Ro, you have some news about Texas?
Yes. Well, Texas was hit recently by a major snowstorm, which brought to the surface a world of corruption and greed that left many Texans in a cold for days. We asked Michael for a comment, and they said,
So I have what Michael then said about Texas. A cold climate tends to amplify the emphasis, or emphasis, however you like to say, on the intellect and higher intellect, or an emphasis on thoughts and the truth. In a warm climate where the cold is uncommon, a significant shift in climate toward a cold snap tends to reflect a potential pivotal shift in thinking and realizing the truth. And when this shift includes snow in a region where snow is unusual, it can mean a dramatic shift away from subjective feelings and a move toward more objective feelings. In other words, a process of emotional and intellectual realization is at work.
Now, continuing what Michael says, Texas is in a shift away from subjective emotions that have been settled into either defeat or defense, and has moved towards a realization that there is more at stake for everyone than previously considered. It could be said that a wake-up call, end quote, has been offered up, and what the population does with this may determine the trajectory of Texas and its move towards the anchoring and strength of its mature souls.
Interesting. Any comments from the chat room on this?
Well,
How are we doing on time?
I think they're all still bowled over from Beyonce because
Hopefully so.
I don't think their exclamations are about Texas per se. You know, fascinating. I didn't know this. I don't know if that's about Beyonce or about this knowledge now about Texas, but
Blue Texas.
Ann LA says, does this mean we can forget the Alamo?
Oh my God.
Christian says, Blue Texas. Is that what all of this is suggesting with the shift in thinking? Wind power Texas.
You never know with that shift towards the mature souls being anchored.
And then I got confirmation. Gene's earlier comment was
It's
about Texas.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, now it's all coming in.
Well, I think there's a little delay, but we've got to move on because I think we're doing really well on time right now. So I think we're going to move on into the topic talk. Our topic talks are designed to be conversation starters and ignite discussions and thoughts that go beyond this show. For today's topic talk, we're pointing to quotes from the most recent energy report for discussion. Energy reports describe the year symbolically using overleaf terms. This is a server year, so we'll be learning a lot about how to care more and how to let ourselves receive care.
So here's part of what Michael said from the February energy report. Now, when you reject your own care for yourself, you diminish and block the path of care that can come from others, and you compromise your effectiveness in caring for others. Many relationships, internally and externally, struggle under the weight of assumption that caring is something you give to others or receive from others. But servers know that a circuit must be created so that there is giving and receiving, or service falls into bondage.
Service is when one includes and nurtures caring when giving to the self or others. Bondage is when one rejects or ignores caring when giving to the self or others.
We will define caring here as being blameless. When you care about others, you are not blaming them for their needs, even if they are neglecting those needs. When you care about yourself, you are not blaming yourself for your needs. You give what you can, how you can, and when you can. Service is blamelessness. Bondage is resentment.
If you find yourself in a strange limbo of retreat, allow yourself that time to reflect and reconsider your relationship to caring for yourself and move away from resentment and into blamelessness.
Your loneliness is not your fault. Your isolation is not your fault. Your needs are not your fault. Your moods and exhaustion are not your fault. Give yourself that care that you need. Ask for the care that you need and give care to others in need, when and however you can.
Now that is all that is necessary to help begin to heal any painful distance between you and yourself, you and others, and you and the world.
Keep in mind that service can come in many forms. It is not just about desperation. It is about the smile that someone needed to see. It is about the laughter that needed to be shared. It is about the insight that needed to be exchanged. It is about the patience that needed to be given or received. It is about listening. It is about all of the little things that matter in ways that are often ignored.
So, panel, do you have any comments about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I could. So I work at a retirement community, and this whole kind of sentiment of the move between resentment into blamelessness feels really just clear there, because a lot of those people are coming into the reality of I need to be cared for, and that kind of just feels like a symbol for all this. Like they're looking at themselves and they're going, okay, this is the reality of my age now, and I do need to accept that. And so this brought up for me the idea of acceptance and coming into terms with your reality and accepting where you are, which sounded really nice.
That makes me realize that the resentment can be on either side, like resenting having to care for someone and blaming them for their needs, or being the person resenting yourself for being needy and having to have other people care for you. It never occurred to me that could be on either side for some reason.
Yeah. And that's part of what I experience every day and have been as I've been working there too, is coming to the conclusion like they need this help and I'm there to give it and help them when I can and how I can. And that's been eye-opening.
I love when Michael throws in these keywords that like unravel so much from a term that was loaded, I guess, or like more convoluted in our heads, and it just pierces through like all of our assumptions. And I really like that about this teaching, where like service is blamelessness. It's like, what? That seems like I would never put those two things together in my head. Any other comments or any community comments?
Well, I can share some of the comments from the audience here. Soul Time with Baby Love says, the smile, laughter, patience, listening, insight. I really loved hearing that. It helps me in my understanding of the full spectrum of service and how I have been and can be of service.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
And then
I think that's a good reminder. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I think that's a great reminder that sometimes caring can be just sharing your presence with others, and we sometimes keep that for granted. How
Yes.
How impactful can be just listening, just seeing that person, and yeah,
It really does make a difference.
Spoken Like an Artist says, the subject of caring is so spot on right now.
Oh,
and
good. I was hoping so.
And then Jean says, yes, service as blamelessness is profound for me.
I love that. Really quick interjection here. I'd like to just give a heads up that the first episode of Causal Coffee with Troy will feature an interview with Soul Time with Baby Love. Just a little plug there.
I just wanted to share, sorry, Christian had a nice comment here. Yeah, moving into my late 40s now, I've become acutely aware of the lack of care I've given myself. Too much weight, poor diet, etc. And I know I personally can identify with that too. I think feeling homebound for so long, lack of social support, friend and family connections. I think sometimes we let those emotional and mental tolls take a physical toll on our bodies, and we tend to neglect that.
Well, it also feels like for me, I feel better about myself when giving care to others. And I feel selfish when it's focused on myself, and not even really selfish, but just like, oh, I don't need it. I can handle it. I don't even know what the right word would be to describe that neglect, but I get myself into that mindset where I feel more alive when I'm helping other people, and I forget to take care of myself in a way that would be the way I wanted to be taken care of by somebody else. And not everybody has access to me to take care of me that way. So I've got to do it. And it's really hard I think it's important for people to remember that you can take care of yourself too. And it would make a difference.
Maureen says, it can feel unpleasant for people who are used to serving and want to serve to be in a position to need to be served.
For real.
I think it's especially hard for warriors and warrior caste.
I don't know if it's specific to any role, but that'd be interesting to see if that's true.
The Softest Revolution has a nice comment. Building a business with the intention of service has totally inspired me in new ways.
Oh, that's really great.
Same read.
I know. I was going to call that out, but
Avi ATM, does that mean at the moment? The word bondage being used to describe service without care was really important for me to hear. It helps me when trying to build new habits.
Oh, that's really interesting. I like to hear how people are applying these things.
All right.
Well, then, I think we're a little ahead of schedule, which will give us more time for viewer Q&A later. But let's just go ahead and move on to our student spotlight. Does that sound good? So one of our segments here every month is going to be a student spotlight, and it's just a way of honoring and getting to know fellow students in the community and friends. And so today I would like to introduce you to my friend Ludmilla, or Lou for short.
Hi.
Hi, Lou. Thanks for being a part of this.
Well, thank you for inviting me. This is exciting.
You're a part of the history now, history making, the first official broadcast of TLE TV's We Are Here Now. So since you're here now, I wanted to ask you how you remember finding the Michael teachings.
Well, I found, my husband actually bought me a a present, a bunch of books, and he thought it was science fiction because that's what I was reading back in those. And I started to read it, and I was blown away. And then I was looking for more Michael books, and I literally found one, just like it practically hit me. And then I started looking online. So this was back in the mid to late 90s when email and things were just, becoming more commonplace. So I got on the list that was run before Dave had it, before Dave Gregg had the list. I think it was Lori.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I saw all these people on the list, and one of them was called Otterly.
Oh.
And I always loved what he had to say. And then I found out that Otterly Blue had his own website.
Who was Utterly Blue?
Well, it's sort of like one of those puzzles, if you mix up the lettering, you come out with Troy Tolley. Except for the B part. So
that's right.
Yeah, so I got in touch with him on email. So we're going back like 23 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And and got my overleaves done. So I'm a king cast artisan, cadre 1, entity 3. Is that how we do it? Yeah. Let's see.
I think you're right.
Yeah, 1-3. Yeah.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is my husband was also, he's a scholar in the same 1-3, and so is my daughter. So my other 2 children are not in the same group, but it's really funny how my husband, myself, and my daughter have very similar views. We're all spiritualists, and we have some combination of observation, passion, and so on. So,
and you could validate you saw that play out in your.
Oh, absolutely. As soon as I got those overleaves, and I had mine first, of course, but then I was like, oh my gosh, it's like incredible how, we just meshed.
Now, when did we actually first meet, like physically meet?
Well, let's see, I actually met Cypress first. She came on
that's
to
right.
New York, and we went out to dinner and had a wonderful time. And not too long after that, you moved up to New York, and along came Cypress and a few other people in your entourage.
There's always an entourage.
And then we set up a bunch of get-togethers, going to restaurants and eating out. And then I remember meeting Karen right from the beginning.
Yes.
And quite a few other people. And there were some people that came and went. And then there were some times when you would give Michael Speaks at a rental place down in the 30s.
Right.
Shepherd Hoodwin also used another Michael channel. So it was interesting and wonderful to meet all these like-minded people who could speak Michael.
I know, and I miss that so much. I miss those meetings and getting together. And after this pandemic, I'm seriously planning to do something so we can all get together. We've got to catch up. I would really love that. But I put a note here. I wanted to ask you, like, what is your favorite memory? It might be like too big of a question, but what is your favorite memory of all of this? Like, just ever since knowing the Michael teachings and knowing Michael's students, is there anything that stands out that sticks with you?
I hosted a gathering in my backyard in New Jersey, and people came from Massachusetts and Canada, and I don't know if you remember AZ Sharon from, I don't know, she came, Illinois, people just traveled from great distances to come to this. And we hung out in my backyard and for 10 hours from beginning to end. Some people came and went, and Kath was there, and a few others.
Was Carl Stone there too?
Yes, Carl Stone and Ed Norton.
Wow, that was a big, nice little group.
Yeah, it was really, and of course my good friend Anne Dupuy with her husband. Steve.
Love Anne and Miss Anne.
Yeah, Anne's not with us anymore, but Yeah, I think
Now,
about it a
as an
lot.
artisan, not all artisans go in this direction, but you went in the direction of creating art, literally.
True, I did.
And so I would like to start with showing this piece, which really is striking and really moved me as soon as I saw it. Can you tell us about this painting?
Sure. My husband passed away 4 years ago, and a quote that he really liked. He was kind of religious as well as being spiritual, and his favorite quote in Latin was "Quem timibo," which is "Who do I have to fear?" So the Lord is my light and salvation, and whom do I have to fear? So it's a little bit longer. It's in one of the Psalms. I don't remember which. But the other thing is that he studied to be an actor, which didn't quite wind up. He wound up as a waiter for the rest of his life, but he did a couple of little acting pieces. So I kind of thought of all the world's a stage, that quote. And then, there's John standing, on the earth with trees and sunlight. And it's kind of like I see his soul kind of progressing through the veil to the next stage. So that's
It
that
gets
painting.
it makes me choked up.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
yeah, that was nice. Yeah, so he's missed.
And tell us about this painting while I
Well,
get myself under control.
I just finished this past week. This has been my homage to the ocean. I love the ocean, the beach, swimming, pools, anything, water. And I missed it so much this past year. The building where I live has a swimming pool, but it was closed. The beaches were, not exactly accessible and so on. So I kept thinking about the ocean. So I started painting the ocean. And one of my favorite colors is cerulean.
Yes.
This is named Cerulean Sea. I have this up on my artist website, and I put there that I'm really genetically have salt water in me because my mother was born the shores of the Baltic Sea, my father on the Black Sea, and my husband was born on the shores of the Ionian Sea.
Wow, that's a lot of sea.
Exactly.
But that's the movement in it, the colors, it's just so beautiful. You know what I was thinking when I was looking at it, though? There's this, I don't know why, if this was intentional. It probably wasn't, but it's my imagination. It looks like a little reflection of the skyline in the water. And there's no skyline. But I loved that I could see that.
Well, it's actually a reflection of the wave. Maybe I made it too big or too deep, but
I loved it.
Because I liked it, yeah.
I'm telling you that because you know how people bring their own stuff to
absolutely.
your art.
Everybody sees something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this piece, I love this. That's just so calming.
So that's Manhattan in the background with the George Washington Bridge. I was walking along the Palisades cliffs, which are quite high on the Jersey side, looking at Manhattan. And after a rainstorm, the clouds parted and this, if you want to call it holy light came down. So I took a photograph, people would call it that or have. So yeah. So it's quite large. I don't know. I think a little bit of it got cut off in the photograph, but yeah.
It's even bigger. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's a long rectangular piece.
Oh, wow. That's really beautiful. And one last piece here.
My favorite, wine. So
I would like one right now.
Yes. My friend and I were sitting on my terrace just at about the time that the sun was setting, and the sunset was captured in the reflection in the wine glass. And I grabbed my camera, took a picture, took a photo, and then decided that would make a good painting. So it was some kind of, I think it's Cupcake Chardonnay or something. I wrote the name on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I see it now. I get the hint of it from it.
Right, exactly. So,
now, do you do art for personal reasons, or do you've won awards, right?
A couple, yes. Unfortunately, not too many involving money, but I have sold some pieces for a decent price. I don't believe in, exorbitant prices because I look at some of the websites that artists have and they want like $10,000 and, most of it is some of them I feel so attached to that I don't want to give them up.
Yeah, I can see why.
You know, in that case, I make cards out of some of them and then give them to people for their birthday along with a bottle of wine or something in this case. But I also do some portraits. I've done portraits of pets for people, and usually as gifts. And this is, I'm working on a portrait of my granddaughter, which is kind of half finished. And
Oh, wow.
so that needs some more work. But, you know, most of them are a labor of love, and it's also a creative outlet, and it keeps me away from the refrigerator and the television.
Well, it's very beautiful, Lou. And would you mind sticking around for the viewer Q&A segment?
I would love to stick around.
I'm sure some people here remember and know you and would like to say hi.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, now that I'm a single girl again, you know, I have more time to spend on Michael teachings and so on.
oh, good. I would love to see more of you. So now we're going to move into viewer Q&A.
Great. Thank you.
So right now we're going to open up the floor to any comments from viewers. Bobby will be in charge of bringing those to our attention, and we'll respond to as many as we can. I think there were some questions and comments that we missed during the interview that we can backtrack and grab.
Yeah, while we give time for everyone to ask some of their questions, we can go back and share some things that people were saying about Lou during her interview. So Jean says, my husband, daughter, and I are in the same cadre. My daughter and I are also entity mates.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Cypress is remembering that day in New Jersey that you were speaking about. And then Spoken Like an Artist was asking, do you recall what year that was?
Ooh. 1998, maybe 99. No, it had to be later than that. Maybe 2000, in that give or take a year.
Right around the millennium.
And we had known each other online long before that.
Right. That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Just lots of comments, just acknowledging how beautiful your artwork is.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you.
And then, of course, James pops in. This is what Troy's really saying is, I'm verklempt. I knew this would happen. Talk amongst yourselves.
That's exactly right, James. I actually I started crying when she shared that piece of art with me for the show. And I was like, this can't happen during the show. I've got to get it out of my system now. Because, you know, I knew John and loved him very much and love him very much.
Loved you too, Troy.
And so when I saw that, it just really hit me and it really captured.
I have to add something here. So Michael, a channeling came through that John and I are going to be role reversed in the next lifetime in China. And Troy and Cypress are going to be our children.
That may be needing to be updated. Michael has shifted us toward Japan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I'll have to ask him.
So it might be.
If Japan survives.
If Japan survives. So there's a lot of variables.
If Japan survives.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables.
Lou, a couple.
But that's awesome, Lou. I didn't remember that.
A couple guests have questions for you, Lou. James Driver wants to know, are these all done with watercolor?
Oil paint.
Oil painting.
Oil on canvas. Mm-hmm.
And then Janet asks, does Lou have a website where her paintings are displayed?
Yes. I just put it up like days ago. I've been kind of working on it. It's Karameros, Karameros .faso.com. The FASO stands for Fine Arts.
Oh, okay.
Online or something. So, but we'll put the link someplace.
The link will be in the description for this video. I didn't have it before now, and we'll make sure it's in there when the video is archived.
Got it. Shout out for Troy. Troy, this is William, and glad you do this.
Oh, thanks. So good to see you. Thanks for being here.
So far, it doesn't look like we have any viewer questions. So come on, people in the chat, if you have anything you want to talk about with Troy or any of the other guests.
And also, if any of the panelists have any questions for Lou or any comments about anything that's been happening, bring it on. Oh,
I heard a pin drop.
James is saying crying is recognizing truth.
That is true.
True.
Yes, tears are the biological reaction to truth, whether
And
it
then-
be pain. Oh, what?
And Troy, what were we talking about last night? You were talking about grief and what it means about truth.
Well, yeah. So grief is also, Michael has described grief as the process of accepting the truth when we don't want to accept it, or it was an unexpected truth. So that's why we grieve when people die that we love, because it's a truth we have to accept, but it's not one we want to accept, or it was unexpected. So there's always, anytime there's grief involved, it's a process of accepting the truth. And tears are a biological reaction to the truth. So anytime you're crying, there tends to be something that you're recognizing as true. And it can be as simple as like you stubbed your toe and the truth of the pain you feel, or the truth of something beautiful when you're looking at it, or the truth of recognition between you and another person. It can make you cry, anything. So tears are the biological reaction to truth is really, I always found that to be fascinating.
James has another question for Lou. What artists have influenced you most?
Well, when I was a teenager and first painting, I really loved El Greco. And I lived not too far from the Metropolitan Art Museum in Manhattan. So I used to play hooky and hang out in the museum or the Frick Mansion and places like that. Of course, I also loved Vermeer and Rubens. And I grew up to be Rubenesque, so I don't know if that paintings had any.
They affect our DNA.
Life imitates art.
Yeah, so my husband would point out that painting looks a lot like you.
Aw.
So that was always a nice compliment.
Yes.
Yeah, not everybody thinks that way, but yes, I'm also what is it, Jovian or jovial or both?
Oh yeah, that's its body type. Yeah, jovial body type.
Also,
Jupiter.
like the mother archetype. So yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So in order to be a mother archetype, you have to have a good sized lap and a shoulder for people to cry on. Yeah. So yeah, but then as I grew up, I really loved Van Gogh, and it's funny because my husband also painted a little bit, and he copied some Van Gogh pieces just beautifully, and then when my daughter was in junior high school, she painted Van Gogh copies, and it was just again part of that whole thing of us being in the same 1-3.
Well, it's interesting as I think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but Van Gogh is from 1-3. Is from your institute. Oh, okay. So okay.
And
you
it's
can confirm.
Just amazing how it's kind of like a bleed through or something. I don't know how to explain it, but
looks like we got some comments.
Yeah, we've got some questions coming in now. So this is from Simbalok. I hope I'm pronouncing that okay. I'm in Cadre 4, Entity 6. I've never seen anyone else from here. Are my entity mates all in Antarctica or Finland? Just kidding. I was channeled by Dave Gregg.
Well, there's some confusion among the channels or conflicts, and
yeah, which
most
Cadre
have
4?
Yeah, if you're from the group that tends to come together, Cadre 4 is cycled off, so the numbering is going to throw in some confusion for finding your fellow entity mates. So it's either needs to be corrected or it's a different group altogether. I'm not sure, but that's something we can discuss in the community or privately if you'd like.
Okay. And then Marigold says, many people were surprised about Beyonce's profile, me included, particularly the old part. Can we talk about old souls who don't necessarily appear like ones to us?
Well, the whole point of getting old is gaining experience and being able to access that experience. And so as somebody gets older, depending on the context that they are living their life and the impact they want to have, if any, they'll draw on the strengths that they gain from other soul ages. So if they're an old soul, they can pull up all their young soul skills and strategies and and strengths and bring those forward to do what they want to do. And they can look to us like old or like young souls or behave like young souls, but their motivation is from a very different place than an actual young soul. So I think I don't know Beyonce that well, and I can't speak on, clearly about her impact, but I feel like her impact has been far more inspiring and motivational and empowering than would be somebody who was actually younger. And that might be the old soul part coming into the young soul tools she's using.
And the softest revolution is contributing to this idea too. She's totally an old soul. She's quirky like one too. And her distance from the noisy melee of the mature soul age.
Okay, a lot of what you see of any celebrity or historic figure is what is presented. And that's going to be very different from who they are. So sometimes a person in their personal life is going to be a very different person than how they're packaged and presented to the world too.
Here's a question
also
from
manifested soul age to consider.
Yeah, true.
Mastering Life's Journey asks, I'm a warrior, sage, 8-2, cadre 8, entity 2, and have trouble finding male friends. Is this common for my type?
No. I don't think there's anything specific about it. Wait. There's no cadre 8-2. I don't know what 8-2 means. Or you say 8-2.
Well, there is a cadre 8. We just don't hear about it.
Oh, cadre 8. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was thinking entity. Sorry.
If that's what that means, if that's cadre 8 entity 2.
No. What contributes to not being able to find male friends probably is location, accessibility. Yeah, anything could be that. That would take a lot more than just your role casting and cadre entity. Those wouldn't really factor in, I don't think.
And spoken like an artist, just Troy, can you just give a point of clarification for how we're addressing ourselves? She says, hi panel, when you say something casts something, do you mean that's the role or the casting?
So if somebody says artisan cast sage, it means that it's a sage role in the artisan cast position. So hopefully that clears that up. But yeah, artisan cast sage, you can't see it, but it's hyphenated on our scripts. So artisan cast or sage cast, those are the position that the role is in. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yep. And then I just wanted to highlight Maureen's comment. Troy, I agree with you what you said earlier about all roles in different ways having difficulty accepting service. It would be interesting to look at that this year.
Oh, yeah. That would be good. That might be a topic for sure.
And
I remember.
Okay,
just
go
one
ahead.
brief thing. I remember. I don't have the transcript on me, but I do remember Michael mentioning at one point, for the United States at least, how servers tended to leave the United States over the course of the 20th century. Not all of them, but there was sort of like a mass exodus of servers to other countries because service gradually became less valued in the United States. And that's changing. It's changing, but there was a definite shift of servers away. So it's interesting how that energy will play out here in particular with that in mind.
Servers were gone for a while and it made a lot of people bitter because we didn't have
them. Michael mentioned a lot of them went to China. A lot of them started incarnating in China.
And then now there's more servers coming back because we're shifting into more of a mature soul perspective where we're focusing on relationships again instead of just on competition. Servers are really helpful still in a young soul world, of course, but the mature soul world is really is much more inviting to the concept of caring for each other. So it makes a better environment for servers.
Yeah, it's the most common role. There are more servers than any other role in the universe and on the planet.
Well, the United States focused on innovation and progress and lost a lot of their focus on caring and nurturing the people. So that's hopefully changing now.
Loss of the family unit.
Going back to the earlier comments about grief and tears and truth, Jeroen says, Michael once shared with me the higher intellect is most easily accessed in grief, as it is a process of integrating objective truth.
Oh, yeah. Eventually, because the experience of grieving is a really profound experience. When you finally do accept the truth of it, it's really profound. It's not just something that it changes you, I think.
Connor, Gene asks, I think I missed it. Are there some thoughts that Japan will be destroyed?
Yeah, I could share. I have the transcripts in my archive. I could share those on the website. But yeah, Michael has specifically mentioned likelihoods for China and Japan are popular options for a lot of people in terms of next incarnations. A lot of older souls are waiting to see whether or not China can implement a democracy sometime in the next 100 years. Japan is also very popular, but Michael specifically mentioned there being a, like they said, a sort of golden age in Japan in 100 years if Japan survives the next 100 years. And they've never followed up on that. So we don't know what dangers they're speaking to. Radioactive water, perhaps, which has been a problem after Fukushima.
I feel it's going to survive because my heart just tingles and aches when I talk about Japan or hear about Japan. And I watch videos like constantly, like just people walking in Japan. There's literally walking videos where people are just walking around the streets, and I put it on and I just sit there because I just feel it.
He really does.
Japan and the Netherlands. Those are two places that I feel really connected to. And so
yeah, I think Japan will be fine.
I don't know. I hope
it just implies that there are some dangers ahead. And
yes.
I'd love to ask Michael to follow up on that to see what they were.
It is a precarious region geographically and nuclear.
It's on the Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
And speaking of feeling connection, special shout out to you, Troy, and how you're managing things. Symbolock says, this has to be one of the best live shows I've ever seen. I love how you give everyone a chance to talk, and there's very little talking over people.
Oh, well, that's nice to hear. Wow. I'm really happy to hear that. We're nervous. I'm nervous. So...
Diane's just contributing to the conversation about the old souls. I think maybe going back to Beyonce. Yeah, I've known old souls who appear young or mature on the surface and had surprising depth when you get to know them better. And then Avi ATM says, Beyonce is very old soul in the sense of being very individually focused and does not really interact much with the young, mature soul dramatics of the music industry or the world of culture at large.
Yeah, she's found a way to navigate that and retain her soul, her spirit. And I feel like that's the old soul part.
Softest Revolution continues it and says, and the way she made her splash and then retreated and sort of rebirthed a more grounded, true self that embraced aspects of her personality, her blackness, her womanhood, etc., in artistic ways.
Oh, that's really good. Thanks for adding that.
Anne says, talking about the server conversation, I have a friend who's a scholar cast server who's a physician. It works for him, but it's hard sometimes.
Works for him. Being a scholar cast server, or what? What works for him?
Being a scholar cast server.
Oh,
I think his professional role as a physician as it relates to being a server.
Oh.
Question about China. Is China a young soul country? I thought I read that somewhere. This is from Spoken Like an Artist.
I think so.
I think they are.
I think it's got. Doesn't it have
they're moving into it at least?
Oh, they're moving into being more of a young soul country?
Yeah, they might be now at this point.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's definitely pockets of mature souls
into a young.
Connor, I think you've scared Carrie. She says, am I learning Japanese for nothing? No.
No, there will still be a Japan. It just sounds like they're going to have some problems later.
Good,
because
it sounds like Janet's next stop is going to be Japan.
If it can be mine, it will be.
Well, part of that is also they have a sharply declining birth rate. And so there's more old people and a dwindling younger population to support them. The obvious solution is to bring in immigrants to reinvigorate the population. It's just Japan has been historically resistant to allowing outsiders in.
That's changed a lot over the past few years.
Mastering Life's Journey was stationed in Japan, I presume in a branch of the military, and loved it. I was actually born in Okinawa, Japan, when my family was stationed there at Kadena Air Force Base.
Do you guys know that?
Interesting.
My fiance.
I'm not Japanese, I'm half Korean, but we were stationed in Okinawa, Japan. A lot of Japan talk. Jeroen says, I have a life in Japan around the year 2100.
This is funny. I mean,
I have that transcript.
And now Song says, I remember Japan has a risk of being destroyed by nuclear energy.
Wow. Some of these,
nuclear power plants on the Pacific Rim. It's not a good. It's not a good.
That's a good combo. Looking for trouble, but it's so funny to read these lines as when I hear them. They sound so strange, and then I remember we're talking about a bunch of dead people teaching people through a channel, and so it doesn't sound so strange, but it is still strange.
Karen says, a past life of mine brought Japanism to Europe, so I would love to incarnate there again.
I'll be right there, Karen. We'll be neighbors.
I want to go
Jean's
there.
noticing
Me too.
There's a lot of scholar casting in this episode.
Oh, is there? I didn't actually catch the if there were any patterns there.
Well, and case in point, Cheryl Varner's saying, hi, everyone. Old 4 scholar cast warrior logging in from Chicago.
Wow,
Scholar
Cheryl. You're cutting in. You're
casting.
getting in just in the nick of time. Oh, we got to wrap up soon. I think the pace was okay for our 60 minutes. We might have gone faster than we had to.
Yep.
But we're going to be wrapping up here soon.
Yep. A lot of talk about Japan and the Far East. My next life, 2070, is in Japan, according to Maureen. It shifted from China and Thailand.
Oh. See, it feels like to me that because there's so much emphasis on Japan, it would be a real damn shame if it goes under before.
Yeah.
Jean's dad lived in Japan when Jean was a kid. I went there for extended periods of time.
Oh, wow. See, there's so many interesting ties to Japan.
Spoken like an artist, my body vaguely remembers a lifetime in Kyoto Palace. I spent a lifetime as a child with a first old artisan, a friend there.
Nice. Well, I read somewhere that the North Pole was actually centered where Japan is now, but I'm talking about, way back. I don't know when.
Really?
Or what, what period of the Earth's history.
Because the pole shifts.
Right.
Oh, Connor, get on that. Let us know about that. So I think, what time is it?
That's far back.
We need to wrap up. I want to say a big thank you to our panelists and to the viewers and your questions and your interactions. This was a great first broadcast, and thank you especially to Lou for being our first guest and for your great interview. And we'll make sure your website is linked to the post for this video so people can look at your art and check out more. And any last comments from the community before we go?
They're all loving it. Jean even thought that it could be longer. It doesn't have to be held at just 60 minutes. So that's some feedback for you to consider.
Well, where we post, okay, 2 things before we go. 1, please subscribe to this channel so that we can get the numbers. We need to reach 100 subscribers so we can change the URL to reflect the channel instead of it just being a code of numbers. And please use the comment section for the video when it's posted to share your feedback and to add more comments about the show after we're off the air. Wow. Thank you guys for being here.
There's lots of love.
Lots of love. Thank you to Amanda and Brian from behind the scenes. Can we bring you on to say goodbye to everybody? Amanda and Brian, thank you so much for the work you did behind the scenes, running the camera and the title.
Great job, everyone.
Yep. And as Gene says, hit the thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed.
I'd like to bring Delphi in as well to
Smash
say
that like.
Delphi works with us on our news segments. Bring her in there.
Hello.
She's just an icon right now, but she's there. Thank you. And everybody stick around. We've got credits to roll. But everybody, I guess this is it. We're wrapping it up. Everybody, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.